Hi, good morning. How are you? Well, I hope to find. I'm gonna throw some stitches in while I'm talking to you. 'Cause why not? Oh, not if you throw your hook around like that, you're not. Okay, so, how the hell are ya? Well, my great uncle Bill would have said, "How the hell are ya?" And well, I think. Thank you. Um, I took my whip into a GM dealer and got all the electrical craziness dealt with. Turns out that the previous owner had spilt something all down the shifter and down in the console, all that, and it just shorted things, melted things, confused the computer and all the things. And then something about a damper air trap door or something wouldn't, it was like tuck, 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 it wouldn't close. So all of it had to do with the liquid spill. Anyways, fixed and better, and I shouldn't have to charge my car every 3 days now. So that was cool. I gotta wind that. I keep forgetting. Yeah, so I got that back yesterday. Not a cheap fix at all. So then I'm looking at my budget going, okay, now what? I need to go to my sustainable store and fill some containers. And I'm like, that's not a cheap trip, hey? Going to the sustainable store. And then I think, well, why? Why is it so expensive? I've asked them, like, numerous times, like, why is it so expensive to shop here? And they're I don't want to say excuse, because their reasoning is that not enough people have caught on to sustainable shopping, so therefore they have to charge more because I says, oh, I see. So the three of us that do shop sustainably, I don't know, it's probably more than that. So we're all gonna spend $30 each to pay for your tub of soap that you got, your hand soap, so that you can cover the cost of that, make a little bit of profit, and pay your one staff. Yeah. Okay, that was all sarcasm. Sorry, not cool. Yeah, no, it's just so expensive, and it's like it's a little bit sometimes a little bit hard on me in my well, not hard on me, hard for me to know full well that I can go get a couple of things of hand soap, like bottles of hand soap, for by my sinks, right, the little ones, and like for like $2, right, over at Walmart. It's not $2 at the sustainable store. I think it was $6 or $7 for one container. It was like $15 for the two, so tell me seven something, six something. Anyways, I thought it was a lot for soap. I mean, does last me quite a while. I do live alone, and even for somebody who washes their hands frequently, it does last me quite a bit. But it's not cheap, and so I say, part of me is like, do I continue to be sustainable? Which, of course, that's my goal, and what I want to do is be sustainable and self-sufficient, and just really try to get away from relying on the services the world provides. I guess like my pre-wrap bacon bits type thing, like where I can wrap my own bacon bits type thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to rely wholly on my own self, desperately trying to achieve that. I have a couple of friends that hunt and such, and when they go this year, if they get game, preferably moose, um, then I'll just throw them some money went towards the processing of that, getting all the cuts and everything. Then that way, I can have some wild game and just be fully sustainable. Okay, that there would cost me a little bit, but I mean, it would be no different than back in the day where I would take him like a bushel of potatoes and give him that, and he would give me like some meat in return. Um, so there's that, and I know a couple of farmers who sell off beef as well. And I know people who buy their half and their quarters and stuff. And again, I throw a bit of money and then can get some cuts. Not that I'm a big meat eater, because I'm not. I prefer poultry or fish actually. And well, I got a couple of fishing poles. I can catch my own damn fish. But yeah, I find it frustrating. I find it hard. I find it disappointing in the whole of the planet. Well, I shouldn't say the planet. It's not the planet's fault. It's the people's. In the whole of the people on the planet. I mean, it doesn't matter where you tune in. It does not matter what you tune into. There is somebody standing in the corner going, but the animals, but the trees, but the planet, but the fish, but the people, but the fracking, the all of it. Like there's always somebody standing there going, hey, but what about? Okay, so if there's that many of us out there, then why are we not all on the sustainable self-sufficiency thing? Like really, that's my question. I'm gonna pose. Because if we all came together and that's it, oh, because of the cost of things, I know, right? That's the bottom line, isn't it? It all costs this fucking money greed thing, and as much as even as much as I want to be sustainable and I live alone and I can make it work because I live alone, I don't have to worry about dependents and what their needs may be. um, I find it really hard to do. Like I find it really hard, like so expensive, and I'm not gonna lie, my oats needed restocked and I didn't go to the whole store. I happened to be at Walmart. I was picking up yarn, and I walked down the oat aisle, and there was this bag of oats for like $2, and I went, I can't go wrong with $2. Sorry about the plastic bits that's going, in the landfill because it's not the right plastic to go to recycling. I apologize for that. I just dropped $2 on fixing my car, so the thought of $8 for oats was a little bit. Oh my gosh, that's a and I eat my oats daily, so it's something that I keep in my home. Often I go through oats, a lot of oats. I've already had my oats this morning. And, now I'm thinking like I need my peanut butter chocolate smoothie soon. Anyhow, yeah. So I'm not going to give up my sustainability at all. I'm preplexed over the cost of it, over the cost of everything. Actually, I mean, goodness gracious, have you been to the prepackaged grocery stores lately? My gosh, I took my mom for her 2-week thing. $230 for two elderly people. I don't know about you, but how many elderly people do you know can drop, you know, $500 a month on groceries, right? I mean, isn't that what their pensions are? $500 and maybe nine, right? $900 pension. So, or six, or depending on what they did, right? You're the mechanic that made the. Well, I guess back in the day it would have been $50 an hour, or $30 an hour, or whatever the hell it was, right? Well, then you're gonna get your $900 a month on your pension. If you were the store clerk, well, then you're only getting your $600 a month for pension. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So to spend 500 of that on food, like, I often have heard my father say, I don't know how people do it in the city, how retirees do it in the city. If my home wasn't paid for, like if I hadn't paid my mortgage off before I retired, I'd be fucked. He says there's no way in hell I could afford rent and food. No way I could afford to run my household and support and feed the people in it, right? Like, kind of like, well, that's you and mom now. Like, all of us kids are grown and gone, and he was like, yeah, he says, like, I don't know how they do it in the city when they have rent and stuff. He says, I don't know how they do it. And I said, that's why when we're in the city, Dad, and we're like, cruising along doing things, and we walk into a store and there's that 80-year-old man working the fucking till. That's why. He doesn't have a choice. How wrong is that in our society? That those of us that, gave their lives to raise us and support us and teach us and help us grow into the people we are today, are still working for pennies on the dollar just so that they can, buy a can of cat food and not die for the month. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. The greed ratio in the world is pathetic. And I just, the higher things go and the more escalated they become, the more withdrawn, the more away from I want. I talk about buying a yurt and hitting the bush all the time. Oh my gosh. Okay. So last night, can't believe I'm gonna tell you this, but I'm gonna. So last night, before dinner, it was like the sun popped out. I had finished all my errands with mom, and it had been a day of appointments. And well, no, yesterday was one, but the day, it's been a couple of days back to back of appointments with her, and I had a moment, and I was sitting out there, and the sun had broke out, and I was just sitting on like my little walkway, and I'm pulling little new spring bits up out of the gravel bits of my walkway, and I'm plucking these, and I didn't have any gloves on, and I thought you should put gloves on because I get so dry and anyway, and I thought, no, I just really want to dig in the dirt with my hands and get grounded and get in touch with Mother Nature. Anyway, if this worm, I swear to goodness, okay, I don't do creepy things like snakes, they freak me out, and worms, they wig me out. If I have gloves on, I'm okay because I have a protective barrier, and that's different, but I didn't have gloves on. Anyway, so I'm weeding, I'm pulling these grass bits, and all of a sudden this worm comes out of the ground. He's like straight up like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Good Lord, right? What the fuck? Kitty. Well, I freak, so she runs. I'm like, well, what kind of great hunter cat are you, kitty? Like, you're supposed to get all the crawly bits. I was done weeding, needless to say, for the night. And then I bust out laughing. Oh, yeah, you want to live in the bush alone. You can't handle worms. Just the worms. The worms are like creepy bits, right? Okay, so what happened, I'll tell you the story about why I don't necessarily dig worms. I was about 14, maybe 12 to 14, around that area. I was out fishing with my dad. I grew up near the ocean, and we were out on the weekend, and we were fishing. He and I were fishing, and he used to bait my hooks for me all the time. Always put the worm on the hook. And he says to me, I'm not baiting your hook no more. You want to fish, you bait your own damn hook. Okay, so when you don't know, you don't really have reservations or fears, really, right? And when you're experiencing something new and you don't really know what's going to happen, you're just like, oh, okay, right? So I grab a worm, I grab my hook, I stick the hook through the worm, and it wrapped itself around my finger. Well, yes, it's a live thing, and it probably felt that, hindsight, right? Worm hits the ground. I look at my dad, and he goes, I'm not beating your hook. Do you think I can fish without a worm? Well, you can try, he says, and he laughs at me. Okay, so anyway, I get this worm, and now it's on the wooden bench seat beside me, and I got my hook, and I'm trying to. Okay, the worm is on the bench, and I'm trying to bait this worm on my hook without touching the worm. I'm not touching the worm. It touched me. I don't want don't touch me. And I'm just like, oh my god. So anyway, I finally get this fucking worm on my hook, and I cast out. Hook goes this way, the hook and the line, and the weight goes this way, and the worm goes that way. Well, my dad really laughed, and I says, I don't need bait. I don't fish with worms. I do not. If I don't have bait, I don't have bait. I find when I fish in the rivers, the salmon like the wool, so that's okay. Like, you can buy like hooks with little shiny bits and stuff on it. Okay, you don't need bait on those because it's the lures that attract them. Thank goodness, because I don't do worms. So when that one come out of the ground, I'm like, you want to live in the woods alone. Yeah, only where it's like, really cedary and no worms. Okay, I have an answer for everything, I can tell you. It might not be right, but, I have an answer for everything. Anyways, I am going to bid you all adieu. I am going to throw a few more stitches in this blanket. Oh, did you want to see? This is for my grandson. I think I told you all this. Baby. I may have shared, I may not have shared, I might have deleted. I do that. Make a video, and then I make the mistake of watching it, and it's like, oh, no, can't watch that. So there you have it. There you have it. My concerns about sustainable prices. Wanting more people, please get on board with sustainable living so we can all afford to buy that. But then again, that's just like a fairy tale dream, I think, with today's day and age. Anyhow, yeah, there's that. I Guild Wars with my father in the evenings. We game. That's so exciting. I love that part of my life. Yeah, so yeah, my budget is tight at the moment. I have had some major expenses like car repairs, and I bought myself a computer because my other one died and I couldn't game with my dad. So I bought another PC. It's amazing. I don't glitch. I don't. Gaming is amazing. Sorry, cat hairs and all the things. And the outside is very polleny. Very polleny outside. So, yes. Got my garden beds happening. You all seen those videos, I hope. Anyway. And we have another follower. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for coming. And not always, who knows? Doesn't matter. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for following. Hopefully that some of my insights on my ramblings aren't too bad to listen to, and you actually understand my points of them, and I have a point to make. Nothing frustrates me more than following somebody or listening to somebody speak, and then after a little while you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it sounds like you're very passionate about it, but the topic is, I have not a clue. So I'm hoping that I'm not evasive on my topics when I do these ones, like, my goodness gracious, who can afford that for soap? Anyway, I gotta go buy some soap today. I think that's what brought this on. I gotta go to my sustainable store and I need some containers topped up. Hand soap, body cream, body wash is the other one empty. And then my laundry soap is getting low, but I think I can manage that. I think I have enough until next income day because, like I said, my budget is really tight right now. And that's okay. I don't mind it being snug, my car is fixed and that stress is gone, and I don't wake up in the morning going to have an appointment today. Should I plug it in? Right? I mean, it was suggested to me that I install a trickle charger on it and then just, keep it plugged in at all times. I said, if I'd had this car for 10 or 15 years and all of a sudden she's just giving me grief, perhaps I would consider that. I just bought this thing. What is it, the 25th today? It is. So 4 months. Is it today? No, it's yesterday. 4 months yesterday. I've owned it for 4 months. I think it's better now. Might have a little bit of the oil thing, but that's okay. We can get that looked at too. Anyway, I want to wish you all peace and blessings, and thanks for joining. And I didn't throw in very many stitches, did I? No, blah blah blah. That's okay. I will get it. I will get her going, and get that going. And finish my coffee. Probably go to my sustainable store and get some stuff filled up. I could probably take a day too, because I did just pay that big bill yesterday, and I was just like, ouch. And he dropped it down a little from what he quoted me originally, so that was a bonus plus. And gave me 2 free car washes. He's like, you can go through the car wash. I said, no, it's supposed to rain tomorrow, like today. He goes, oh. I said, yeah. So I make that mistake. I run through the car wash regardless of the weather, and then it rains the next day, and it was kind of like a waste of money, right? But now that we're not frozen, I can hook up my own water sources and wash my own car for free. Well, muscle power and soap, right? Yeah. Okay, that's all. Again, peace and blessings. Have a great day and take care. Put yourself first always, please. First and foremost is your own self. Love yourself first. Care for yourself. Give yourself that time. Even if you're minus minutes, just be like, I am gonna take that minute to really just wash my face and brush my teeth, comb my hair. I'm not gonna, I'm already 2 minutes late, so carry on, do you. The rest will catch up with itself. Okay, again, peace and blessings. Take care, and bye for now.